like 80 or 90% of the entire fight is just these mini bosses. And while we're at it, I guess we can also just quickly rank the King Dice mini bosses. So in ascending order from worst to best this time, at 9th place we have Chips Badigan. This design is very cool. It's very simple, but it's just super cool. It's basically just a stack of poker chips with like a cowboy hat, and the faces that he makes while he's attacking you and while you're fighting him are also super entertaining. He seems to be really enjoying this fight. I also like the background where you've got, you know, some dressed up skeletons sitting at the table, which the fight takes place on. So yeah, kind of a just cool background. This is one of, if not straight up the easiest mini boss. He doesn't have a lot of difficult or varied attacks. It's basically just him moving from one side to the next in different like chips patterns, but you can just dodge that and just keep attacking him. So yeah, not a whole lot of challenge or anything. In 8th place we have Dipsy Troop, which are 3 drunken alcohol drinks, which is such a goofy and fun idea. You have the background being a bar or a restaurant, I can't really tell, and you can see some like creepy and monstrous looking guests appearing and disappearing. I also really like the small flying olives that the female drink spawns, and I think it's also cool that you have to take out each of the drinks individually, so it's not like just hitting one of them enough makes them all just die. 7th place, Mangosteen. This guy is a floating 8-ball that has a very cursed looking face. Also pretty good idea to make this particular boss at the 8th spot, you know, that's some 500 IQ move right there. I really like the colorful and creative background, and yeah, Mangosteen's face is just very fun to watch because it just looks so ridiculous. And this one, alongside Chips Badigan, is by far the easiest boss out of the 9, because all the attacks and projectiles are super easy to predict and react to. There's not much of a challenge in this one, but the design is just very cool. And fittingly, this guy's also got a pretty cursed death animation, where his eyes spin like crazy and he's vomiting up the black fluid inside himself. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So moving on, we've got Fear Lap, which is a skeleton horse race. To keep up the gambling theme, we're in a casino after all. This is the boss I fought the least amount of times, so I don't remember him quite as well, but it's still a very awesome boss battle. Especially like the tiny horse racers at the bottom of the screen and the background are all very cool. It's a very well executed theme, and aesthetically it's also very well done. This is also one of the like tougher fights of all the mini bosses, mainly because of these small ghost horse riders that shoot up to hit you. So you need to pay attention to these. And another great death animation with the skeleton horse holding money bills in both hands. So next we have the 5th mini boss, Hocus Pocus, the bunny wizard. And this fight is also one of the better ones. His design is brilliant. His animations look super crazy and over the top, which is great. The background with the curtain and the playing cards and all that looks very nice. He's actually a pretty tough fight, especially the one attack when he like spawns the different card signs either at the bottom or the top of the screen that you have to parry or else you'll 100% get hit. And another great death animation with him getting choked by his own tie, which also fits the magic theme. Moving on, we have Pip and Dot. And this is another boss with an awesome design and just overall amazing aesthetic. It's essentially a domino with like 2 faces, so it's made up of 2 personalities and it's sitting on a swing. The background of this one is especially brilliant and very pleasing to look at. You've got all the different domino blocks combined and arranged in different patterns, and this background just has a very strong sense of depth to it because there are like multiple layers of domino combinations. Yeah, I really like it. The head is also very funny. I also like the animation when they open their mouth in the middle with, you know, the sharp teeth. Very creative. And there's also that little bird domino as well. I think that's also pretty cute. And finally, the death animation is also very good, with the bottom female face getting angry and using its legs to kick the upper male domino in the face. It's pretty fun. One thing to note, I feel like it could have been a cool idea if they made the bottom face have like 3 or 4 eyes. You know, kind of take advantage of the fact that it's a domino block, so it doesn't just have to be, you know, 2-eyed. but it's very minor, you know, could have been cool though. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Now we're getting into the top 3, with top 3 being Mr. Chimes. He's one of those toy monkeys holding symbols, and he's hanging from the ceiling on a mechanical claw. So the whole fight basically takes place in one of those claw machines where you can try and get one of those toys. You can also see the toys in the background, and through the glass you can also see the other like playing machines. This fight has a very cool and unique mechanic baked into it, which is the memory card game. So you'll have to find the matching pair of cards, and only then you can attack the monkey. So only when you've found every single pair, you can actually attack the monkey. And I really like the concept and the design of the fight itself. And you know, the monkey character, he just looks very fun. And this is a very great boss. Mr. Wheezy takes the second place. And this is one of the best. Aesthetically, it actually might be my favorite one out of the mini bosses. I love the intro animation of King Dice's hand holding a lighter and lighting up the cigar, you know, lighting up Mr. Wheezy. And the design, man, you know, the fiery bottom and the swirly background of, I think it's people smoking. It's also just very cool to look at. He looks so much like a typical cartoon villain as well. Yeah, I just really like all of the design choices in this fight. And when he switches sides, he like turns into ash and then re-emerges out of the other ashtray. It's just a great design overall. And it's a great animation as well. And the fire projectiles he shoots at you actually have a relatively challenging movement pattern, so it's also a quite challenging fight. And the best mini-boss of King Dice is Piroletta. Now this design is absolutely fantastic. For me, it's very close between this design and Mr. Wheezy's. I really like that her 2-2 is a roulette wheel. This is like such a cool idea. And there's this one great spinning move where she throws all these little white roulette balls at you. There's also the 4 floating poker chips that you can temporarily stand on when parrying them. And the background with the many hands wearing gloves, making their bets and all that, is also just great. Great theme, great design, very cool mini boss. This boss basically automatically counts as one of the best bosses in the game, just because of the sheer amount of content in it. And the bosses are all very well designed, plus some great concepts and themes. The overall, you know, King Dice theme is also very cool. And I can't really see how anyone could not like this boss, except for maybe the final phase. But even that I think is very cool, because of the big challenge it poses.